Technical analysis is more of an art than a science, and when you don't have it exactly right, you should pivot and adjust and make sure that you're tracking things to what the chart is telling you. So I have made some adjustments to the chart. We want to make sure if we didn't capture the bottom that we figure out what can we do differently in drawing our support resistance or looking at the scale of the chart. So what I did here is I switched the scale to logarithmic because we have that long-term view, and then redrew the support and resistance lines to include that bottom support at $10. And that top resistance line is going to be about $13.89, maybe just under $14 by the end of the week. That is what I'm going to be watching for. And if we get a breakout above that, then clearly things become a lot more interesting to me. Hey guys, Tony here. Welcome back. It is Saturday, May 4th. You made it to the weekend again. A fantastic trading week for GameStop traders. I want to go over with you in this video how I traded GameStop last week. We'll talk about the chart and what my plans are for next week. I also want to spend just a minute going over some bullet points with you about philosophy on swing trading or momentum trading, and talk about, again, for those who didn't watch any of the videos over the last 4 or 5 weeks, the key mistakes we made, how we corrected them, and how we trade this thing moving forward. Again, if you are a GameStop buy and hold no matter what investor, this video is not going to be for you. We are talking about swing trading and momentum trading, which I have been doing on GameStop since 2022 very successfully. Let's get right into the details. Let's recap some trades in the shift in strategy that I did before and after the most recent earnings. Before the earnings came out on March 26th, I was looking to buy GameStop on lows and sell it into the pre-earnings news. I had buys at $14.75 on January 22nd, $13.73 on February 5th, $13.50 on March 19th. Those are on these days with the big red candles. I sold on the day of earnings because GameStop was not having an earnings call. I saw that as a bearish signal, and I got out for a couple dollars profit per share at $15.59 right before the market closed on March 26th. But then the game changed because we knew that sales did indeed come down. We knew that there was profits, but they were very tiny, and that the PE ratio for GameStop was way overvalued. And I had to reevaluate my strategy for buying GameStop, and trying to get the absolute bottom became much more important to me. As we have been watching the GameStop price action since that date, since March 26th, and seeing it come all the way down to $9.95, I've been trying to explain to you guys why the price might be coming down, how Wall Street is looking at the price, and overall my sentiment on that has not changed. I think that the trend overall for GameStop this year, unless management comes out with some game shifting news, is going to be a downward momentum. But that doesn't mean that we can't momentum or swing trade this thing. That is what all of these videos are about: identifying the lows and playing the swings. Now, as we discussed in last week's video, I had been using a linear chart over the long term, and I missed calling the bottom at $9.95. So we corrected that mistake in last week's video, updated the chart to logarithmic, which you should do when you're looking at a more long-term view. And then we redrew the support and resistance lines to capture that bottom. By that point, GameStop had already bounced off of $9.95 and was trading in the middle of the wedge. And as a swing trader, when it is indecisive, I don't want to jump in and try and guess what is going to happen in the middle of the wedge. So I said that I would wait for it to come back down, or as you saw in the beginning of this video, I'd be watching for a technical breakout above the resistance line, which I had called around $14. And that is what happened on Friday, and I followed my trading plan. When it broke through that resistance line, I did buy GameStop on Friday. Let's zoom into the chart here and talk about one last thing from last week's video. When I made that video, GameStop had 3 days of upward momentum, but it was in the middle of this wedge that you can see. And that's why I did not want to jump in to the stock. In fact, we had 3 red days at the beginning of the week, and that's why I want to be careful about timing my entries. You don't want to jump in and then get rug pulled by a bunch of red days when things are uncertain. The chart was giving us a bunch of uncertain signals exactly what it was going to do. And so for my own self, my style of trading, I'm looking for some more positive signals where it is safe to go in and ride some upward momentum. And that is indeed what we got on Thursday and Friday. I said what my trading plan would be if we got that upward momentum and we broke through the resistance up around $14 that I would be buying, and that there could be some continued upward momentum. Not only did we break that resistance at $14, we also broke the 200 moving average, double bullish towards the upside on Friday. So I got in on the upward momentum at $14.74. As we discussed last week, clearly I already misidentified the absolute bottom in the last week or so at $9.95. So I wanted the safest entry into some upward bullish momentum. $14.74 is where I got in after we broke through that resistance line. Now let's zoom into the 30-minute chart and look at why I sold on Friday afternoon. If we look at the 30-minute chart and this last candle, you guys can see here I sold at $16.61. That is basically the top of this solid green candle, a little bit higher than it on the 30-minute chart. It did wick up for a few minutes up to $17.45, but I'm not trying to capture the absolute bottom, and I'm not trying to capture the absolute top. I'm looking to get a profitable entry and a profitable exit. So I am out at $16.65, and we traded downward in the after hours on Friday. Now I know some of y'all are probably screaming at the monitor, why would you get out on 2 days of bullish momentum? Because I wanted to lock in gains. And guess what, guys? What no one ever tells you, it's very easy to hit the buy button in pre-market on Monday morning, or Monday morning during regular hours, or Tuesday or Wednesday. Whatever minute, hour, or day I decide to get back in, it takes me 2 seconds to hit the buy button and rejoin the action. We don't know exactly what's going to happen on Monday morning, and I don't like that uncertainty. If it gaps up, it's not a big deal. There's thousands of trade opportunities in thousands of stocks every single week. I am trying to get good entries, capture profits, take exits, and then we monitor and continue on with the play if the momentum is moving up. If for some reason the momentum shifts on Monday morning and the stock starts pushing back down, I have limited my risk by taking those gains on Friday and locking them in. If things continue up, then I simply jump back into the play. What is going to happen next week is anybody's guess. The technical indicators are still all very bullish. This is a highly shorted stock, and if buyers continue to show up next week, you could see some more pressure on the shorts and some continued upward momentum on this stock. And I certainly hope that that does happen. On the hourly chart, we had increasing prices into increasing volume, which I like to see. On the 5-minute chart, we lost a little bit of that momentum as some people locked in gains, much like myself, to de-risk over the weekend. Monday begins a new week, guys. It is anybody's game. It's all going to depend on who shows up with more money on Monday morning, the bulls or the bears. I will be up early doors on Monday morning in pre-market watching GameStop and a lot of other plays. If GameStop is still moving up, I will be playing it towards the upward side. I wish all of you a lot of luck in your trading next week. Let's put some pain on the shorts. I love to see that happen. If it doesn't, then we will reassess next weekend when we do our next weekly TA update. Overall, again, as I said, my fundamental analysis, financial analysis on the company still stands for how I think it's going to trend over the long term this year, but that doesn't mean that we can't make some money on GameStop at the end of last week and hopefully into this coming week. That is the whole point of swing trading, momentum trading, playing those variations in the chart, trying to identify the lows, enter at the best low we can get, and exit into the pushes up. I am Tony Denaro. Thank you for watching. Leave me your comments or questions down below. Join us tonight on the live stream, and I will see ya on the next video.